back with a recap of the Enjoy This Life virtual retreat. So in this retreat, you could buy a kit if you wanted. If not, you could just follow along for free. These were free classes. And so they could be found on the Not Too Shabby Shop YouTube channel. So the kit that we got, if you bought the kit, you got the Fall Life paper pad, which I used all of it. If you pre-ordered, you got this for free, or you could add it on. I used about more than half. We got a plaid stencil, and we got some enamel dots, which I used all of. This is another one that I have. Enjoy This Life die and the stamp set, and I believe you could add on the dies. The projects that we made, so the first class that we did was from Jamie, and we did a gatefold card. Very simple, and I used some elements from my stash to kind of make it a little bit special. And then the next class that we made was a fun fold card. Don't know if I'll be making another one of these because it was hard for me. Like, okay, there we go. The next class was do yourself pattern paper. So we did this one right here, where we glued small ephemera images on a piece of paper. We splattered it with some ink. I did gold watercolor. And then we trimmed off all of the edges, and we cut it on a diagonal, and we made two cards. And I like how that came out. And then, let's see, we did this one right here. We did a gatefold, but to make this pattern paper, we took a paper that already had a pattern on it and stamped black the pumpkin, and then we used our Copics to kind of give it a little bit of shading. So we did a little bit of shading on the pumpkin, we colored in the stem, and then we did a shadow around it. And so I made this card and then this card, which also I used the scrap of the pattern paper we made, and then we made more pattern paper by just stamping in brown ink on the craft, the small images, and those are the two cards we made. And then next it was the, oh no, wait, we have one more, sorry, one more pattern paper. This one we used the plaid stencil in a kind of a lighter ink, and then we inked on top, we stamped on top in black, the little images you see here, and then we use colored pencil to put color on those images, and then we made two cards out of that. Okay, then we did the fall into watercoloring. Did we only make one card? I can't remember now. I think it might just be one card. I can't remember. But what we did was we colored in some images, and we used this one, but the other images I used on other cards. But for the sweater, what we did was we did some like watercolor techniques, and then we stamped over it in black, the sweater images, and then we cut them out with the die, and then we placed them on the paper, and then kind of cut all the excess off and created our own pattern paper with that. And then we used the watercolor image that we watercolored on the front. Okay, so then we did a squash book. So here is the squash book, which I had actually never made one before because they're kind of not my bag, but so this is like where most of the paper went. And I struggle with how it gets put back. Okay, there we go. Did it. So that was the squash book. And then we did gratitude journaling. And so here's the gratitude journal. Now I think my paper is too thick. I opted to staple mine, but she showed you how you could use, needle and thread, and you could sew it, which I've done before. Anyways, but here is the gratitude journal. It's a little bulky for my taste. It's a little bulky. I think the paper is too thick. No worries. Then we did gift card holders, and I really liked these. I did 3 of them, and she showed us different closures. I chose to do the belly band because, number one, I could use the scrap piece that's left over from making this. I used all the scrap, and it's the easiest. So it just comes off like this, and then it pops up like this, and this is where you would put your card. So, and then this is where that other piece of scrap went, and I used one of the watercolor images. So I really liked these. These I liked a lot, and very simple. And I made 3 of them while I was at it. Up, and this is where you would put your gift card would fit right here. Okay, so there's that, and then I'll show you the last one. This one's a little tight. There we go. And there's that one. I made the belly bands looser after this one because this one was kind of tight. Okay, then the last one was Mini Slim, which I did not follow the cutting guide at all. I kind of did my own thing because I wanted to use up little scrap pieces of paper from all the other classes. So I kind of did my own thing. So my measure 5.5 by 3.25. I think they're a little bit smaller than normal because I didn't want lots of scrap. So these are the ones that I made. So those are the mini slims that I made. And then I made 3 cards on my own of what was left. So I had some leftover pumpkin paper I had made. I had some ephemera, and I had little bits of scrap that I wanted to use up. So this is how I used up. I made 3 cards with what was left. And here's this one, and you can see the paper does not match because I wanted to use it up. So there's that one. And then here I use, you can see how I use the scrap. And this card right here. And so that is all the projects I made. Thank you so much for watching. This is Sandy Crane with a Heart.